guys, welcome to our first page. I did this behind one word.
Hey, oh, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hi guys, hope everyone's having a wonderful week so far. My start off, I was a little frustrated. Can't even lie, I was just a tad bit annoyed, you know. But we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna push through another week in this quarantine. You know, I want to call it something else because even though the word quarantine is in Tyler's video, that's not the point. The point is that we're gonna call it something else. Rejuvenation period. We have been given a rejuvenation period that I think all of us needed. Did it come timely? No. Well, there's some consequences. Yeah, like, you know, I don't know, unemployment. You know, that's one of them. Death, that's two. But you know what? We're not going to dwell on that. We're just gonna give it up to God, like we always do, and that's what we're gonna keep on doing, right? Right, exactly. So, we're not gonna talk about books today. I know I have other stuff to talk about. That's crazy. Wow. Yes, I have other stuff to talk about, other things that I want to bring to light that maybe other people are dealing with, because as some of you all might know, when you get older, you're not the only one going through your problems. Just saying. Not invalidating that the problem isn't a problem. Just you're not the only one dealing with it. So what I want to talk about is, can long distance relationships and quarantine mix? Well, I'm playing. It's a lot to deal with. So for one, I've been in a long distance relationship for a year and some change. I'll put it that way. A year and some change. And we definitely have our ups and downs. I can tell you that for sure. I mean, relationship, friendship, anyway, you have ups and downs. And, you know, most people that you probably heard, long distance requires, it's another level of communication. Like, I know people keep saying, like, oh, you really need to communicate. No, but seriously, like, you need to, like, talk. Like, open your mouth. I'm talking to myself. And it's a little tricky for a couple reasons. You know, certain people deal with distance differently. So for me, I would like to say I'm not clingy. However, I wouldn't say however. At the same time, I do enjoy, you know, the physical, like, I can, you know, go to his house, something like that, and just lay on his chest, you know. Or if I'm going through like a bad day, he's like, you know, babe, come over, we're gonna have a dinner, or we're gonna go to the park or the beach. And I'm like, okay, that's exactly what I needed. And you know, you don't have that when it's long distance. Not saying that he has not been there for me and vice versa, and we try to help each other. You know, shout out to WhatsApp, like, you sponsor our relationship, because for WhatsApp, yeah, I don't know where we would be, to be honest with you. But you know, you have to really be there for the person, you know, through long. And it's not like, and I'm not saying long distance as in he's like in Miami or something, or he's in Georgia. No, he's 13 hours away. So that's long. It's long distance. And you know, I've like tried to learn from other people and everything. You know, you try to make things to pass the time, stuff like that. But especially in this period where, you know, usually we can only see each other about 3 or 4 times a year. If it's more, thank the Lord Jesus, that's a blessing. You know, it has to deal with, you know, schedules. He is in a whole career. I'm still doing college, you know. So we're in like kind of 2 different stages of life right now. So due to that, it's not like he can just, you know, hop on a plane and be like, okay, I'm coming down to you. Or myself, I can't just hop on a plane. I have a job. I have, you know, obligations. He has obligations himself. So when you're trying to balance that, it's hard. And so when you're having this period where it's like, oh, well, technically we can just, you know, play house, if you want to call it that. And because, you know, I'm on a state lockdown, you know, obviously it's not the best time to travel. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, was I trying to leave the state? Definitely. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was definitely trying to leave the state and go see him because, you know, I really truly thought I could not do this by myself. I was like, nope, I cannot. And yes, I have my family, but if anyone knows how it is living with your family, especially in your younger 20s and everything, like, it's hard, okay? You're pushing and pulling, you know. It's not even attitudes or egos. It's just when you're with someone for a long time that is, I would say, really connected to you, especially like your parents, stuff like that, you about want to fight them in the Lord, of course, with love. There's always with love. But what I've done, what's helped to cope, I believe, through long distance, with, you know, being long distance and during this quarantine, is that, you know, we're just praying that we can be able to see each other, you know, after all this is over. You know, there's supposed to be a set date in May. Who knows that's gonna happen still, you know. I really hope it does. But I would say for anyone else dealing with long distance and quarantine, 3 things I can help you. Number 1, set up, you know, virtual game nights or virtual date game nights. Like, if there is something that you guys like to do, you know, going out, like, to that place, like, do it virtually. If you guys will have a bowling match, like, come on, you know, like, have like a virtual wine and color night or something like that, you know. Try to really, you really gotta be creative with this. Number 2, if there's at any point where you're like, oh my gosh, I need help, like, emotionally with this, you really got to talk to your partner about that. Being upfront, I think, is the number 1 thing for long distance relationships, because, you know, we can't read your mind, and especially you're not in the same vicinity as them, so you really have to speak. You gotta talk. You have to talk. That was for me too. Number 3, I would say you gotta just have God deal with it, honestly. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, there's some days where I just feel like it gets tough. I ain't gonna lie, it gets tough, especially if you have friends that, you know, are living with each other, or they get to see each other, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you know, it's so hard sometimes. I'm like, what do you mean it's so hard? I get to see him every day. I don't get to see my man. And like, I calm down. But you know, just take it as when you finally get to see them, oh my gosh, the homecoming is a blessing. You know, you really, and not saying that I've taken for granted seeing him, because I only get to see him a few times anyway. Oh my God, what is that? Sorry. I only get to see him a few times anyway, so I definitely don't take it for granted. But trust me, the time I get to see him this year, I'm gonna like pummel him. Like, I'm gonna be so happy. But long distance and quarantine, it can work, but it's gonna be rocky at first, because it was rocky for me. I think I set up what went wrong with me. I just set up in my mind already that I couldn't do it. I already said, nope, I can't. And when you already start off with the spirit of defeat and that you have no control over it, even if you feel like everything of your life is controlled, you can control something. And that way you control is the way your emotions play with your decisions. So it can work. You just gotta push through and talk, communicate. Please talk. But that's my video for this week. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, comment. Even if you're not a long distance relationship, if you could see yourself in one, would you end it before the quarantine, or would you power through with your partner? And let me know how you guys think. Don't forget to follow me on my socials on Twitter and Instagram at Gypsy Junction. And I'll see you guys on another video. Gypsy out.